Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Genomic data have been making a lot of headlines recently, and for good reason. It's a game changer for healthcare, the economy, even global leadership. And it's especially relevant for those of you prepping for the UPSC exams, especially the mains exam.
Absolutely. And what's particularly interesting is how India is not just generating this data, but also setting up the infrastructure to share and analyze it responsibly, which is crucial in a field with such huge implications.
Right, it's like laying the groundwork for ethical innovation.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what happened. The Genome India Data Conclave just finished up, and there were some major developments.
Yeah.
The Genomic data set was released, new protocols for data sharing were put in place, and a brand new national data center was launched. And all this info is straight from the Press Information Bureau, so, it's reliable.
It really is a big deal. The Indian Genomic Dataset is a collection of 10,000 whole genome sequences. Imagine having access to the complete genetic code of 10,000 individuals. And this data is now available to researchers worldwide. It's housed in the Indian Biological Data Center, or IBDC.
The IBDC. So it's like India's own genomic library. I mean, think about the possibilities for UPSC aspirants being able to analyze the genetic makeup of a population as diverse as India's. It's mind-boggling.
It really is. And this is just the first step. The Genome India Project is aiming to sequence 1 million genomes to get an even deeper understanding of the genetic variations that are specific to Indian populations.
So we're talking about potential breakthroughs in rare diseases and population-specific health risks. It could revolutionize healthcare in India.
Exactly. It could lead to more effective and personalized treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where the concept of personalized medicine comes in.
Personalized medicine. So using someone's genetic information to tailor their healthcare from prevention to treatment, that sounds futuristic.
It might sound like it, but it's closer than you think. Imagine knowing that a patient's genes make them more likely to have side effects from a certain drug. You could prescribe a different medication or adjust the dosage.
That's incredible. But I think it's worth explaining what genome sequencing actually is for those who might not be familiar with it.
Sure, it's basically like reading the entire instruction manual for building a human being. We're talking about figuring out the order of all those tiny building blocks of DNA.
So we can see an individual's predisposition to certain diseases or health challenges. And we're not just talking about looking at specific genes, right? This is whole genome sequencing.
Exactly. Whole genome sequencing gives us a much more detailed and comprehensive picture. It's like comparing a snapshot to a panoramic view.
Wow, so this is obviously huge for healthcare. But how could this information come up in the UPSC exams?
Well, the Genome India Project and the Indian Genomic Dataset are definitely important for the science and technology sections of both the prelims and the mains. You could be asked about the goals of the project or the technologies used or even the potential applications of the data.
And I'm guessing it could also be relevant for the essay portion of the mains.
Absolutely. You might be asked to discuss the ethical considerations of genomic data or the implications for healthcare in India. It's all about understanding the science and how it impacts society, which is something that UPSC examiners are always looking for.
So it's not just about the science itself, but also the broader implications. And speaking of ethics, that's where the framework for exchange of data protocols comes in, or FEED.
Right. FEED sets the ground rules for how this valuable genomic data is shared, making sure it's handled responsibly and that individual privacy is protected.
So it's about finding that balance between scientific progress and ethical responsibility, which is something any aspiring policymaker needs to understand.
Absolutely. It's about harnessing the power of genomics for the benefit of society, while ensuring that it's used ethically and responsibly. It's a delicate area, but FEED helps make sure we get it right, so researchers can access the data they need while we protect people's rights and prevent misuse. But let's shift gears a bit. We've talked about healthcare, but this genomic data also has big implications for India's bioeconomy.
Right. India's biotech sector is already booming. It's ranked 12th globally, and we have thousands of biotech startups. So imagine what we can achieve when we combine that with this wealth of genomic information.
It's really exciting. And the government's Bio-E-Free policy is a clear sign that they're serious about making India a global leader in the bioeconomy. This policy is all about driving innovation and growth in the biotech sector, and genomic data is a key part of that.
So for our UPSC aspirants, this policy is definitely something to pay attention to. It could easily come up in the economics or current affairs sections of the exam.
Definitely. And it's not just about memorizing facts for the exam, it's about understanding the bigger picture, how genomics is going to play a central role in India's future.
It's about connecting the dots between science, technology, economics, and policy, and seeing how they all work together to shape the future. And India is really at the forefront of this genomic revolution.
Absolutely. We're not just following global trends, we're shaping them. India is a key player in major international genomic initiatives like the Human Genome Project and the Earth Biogenome Project.
So we're not just generating our own data, we're contributing to a global pool of knowledge.
Ah.
That's fantastic.
It really is. And this is where India's incredible genomic diversity becomes even more valuable. It gives us a unique perspective and helps fill in the gaps in our understanding of human genetics.
Which brings us back to personalized medicine. Having this diverse data from India is going to be crucial for developing treatments that are more effective for the Indian population.
Exactly. We can move away from that one-size-fits-all approach to healthcare and develop treatments that are tailored to the specific genetic variations we see in India.
It's all about using our unique genetic makeup to create healthcare solutions that work better for everyone. And that's a powerful vision.
It is. And this is where future policymakers have such an important role to play.
They'll be shaping the policies that determine how this technology is used, making sure it benefits everyone, not just a select few.
It's a huge responsibility, but it's also an incredible opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives.
Absolutely. And that's what we're trying to do here today, giving our listeners the knowledge and insights they need to understand this complex and rapidly evolving field.
We want to empower them to think critically, ask the right questions, and see the bigger picture, because they're the ones who will shape India's future in this genomic age.
And it makes you wonder about other areas too. Could this data help with things like food security or even environmental sustainability?
Absolutely. Genomics has applications far beyond healthcare. Think about developing crops that are more resistant to disease or drought, especially with climate change. That's crucial for food security.
Right. And what about protecting endangered species? Could genomics play a role there?
Definitely. We can use it to understand the genetic diversity of these species and develop better conservation strategies.
It seems like the possibilities are truly endless. And for those of you listening who are interested in public service, this is where it gets really exciting.
Yeah.
Imagine being a policymaker who can use genomics to tackle some of India's biggest challenges.
It's a huge opportunity to make a real difference. Think about healthcare accessibility and affordability. Imagine a future where personalized medicine is part of our healthcare system, leading to better treatments and better health outcomes for all Indians.
It's not just about applying these discoveries. It's about fostering innovation here in India, creating a thriving ecosystem of research institutions, biotech companies, and startups that are pushing the boundaries of genomics.
Exactly. It's about making India a global leader in genomics, not just a consumer of the technology, but a developer and innovator.
So we've covered a lot today. The Genome India Project, the Indian Genomic Data Set, the IBDC feed protocols, the BioE3 policy. All of these are key to understanding India's potential in genomics.
And this is really just the beginning. There's so much more to explore and discover as our understanding of the human genome grows. And new technologies are emerging all the time.
It's a rapidly evolving field, which is why it's so important to stay curious, to keep learning, and to never stop asking questions. And that's what we're all about here on the Deep Dive, taking complex topics and making them accessible and engaging.
We want to empower you with the knowledge you need to understand the world around you and make informed decisions. Whether you're preparing for the UPSC or pursuing a career in science or policy, or just curious about the future.
And speaking of staying informed, we should mention where we got all this great information. Everything we discussed today comes from the Press Information Bureau, or PIB.
PIB is a really reliable source for anything related to government initiatives and policies, so you can be confident that you're getting accurate and up-to-date information.
Absolutely. But knowledge is even more powerful when it's shared. So if you found this deep dive helpful, please hit that like button and share it with your friends, especially your fellow UPSC aspirants.
And if you want to join us on this journey of exploration and discovery, make sure to subscribe to The Deep Dive.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a topic that's sure to spark your curiosity. We'll see you then.
Until then, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
The future is in your hands. And that wraps up our deep dive into India's genomic potential. Best of luck on your UPSC journey.